טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה 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 טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Well, welcome and Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our congregation who is here with us in our sanctuary over Zoom. It's so nice to see everyone together as we wind down from the end of summer and we bring on a new transition for us in both our secular time and our Jewish time. This week, we officially entered the month of Elul. We blew the shofar for the first time. And Elul is the month that starts that ticking clock, counting down to the arrival of our high holy days and the time to start the process of teshuvah, that process of returning to those selves that we want to be. An organization called At the Well, a Rosh Chodesh project, teaches that we didn't invent Elul, our ancestors did, but we are here to breathe life into it together. So as we think about entering a new month, a new time in our calendar, we acknowledge that some of us are entering eagerly with a lot of joy on what's on the horizon, anticipation for a new year, while others are entering with trepidation. There are changes ahead, some things that we might fear. Others are entering this time with grief, wondering how a new year could possibly come without our loved ones. But no matter how we enter, we breathe new life into this ancient time, and we know that we will breathe life together, accompanying one another on the journey. So tonight, this Shabbat, we have someone who is entering hopefully eagerly and with joy and not with a lot of anxiety and fear. Julian Sorger, you are very, very prepared to become bar mitzvah this Shabbat, and we invite you to come and light Shabbat candles with your grandma Anne and your mom Nicole. Please join us. We're going to be on page 2 and 3.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Julian, want to pick up that big candle? Or Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shal Shabbat. Amen. Congratulations, Mazel Tov. Well, Julian, sit back and enjoy the service. We'll see you at the end to mark Shabbat. But now we're going to continue welcoming the spirit of Shabbat into our sacred spaces here and at home with the words of Lecha Dodi that are on pages 20 and 21. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmianu el hamayuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet ve'elitchila lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mekedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'makshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, ki va'orek u'me'uri, uri, shir daberi, kavod Adonai alayk nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. As we get to verse 9, we rise to welcome Shabbat by facing our sanctuary entrance. If you're able, we bow to greet Shabbat. Boi v'shalom, hateret bala, gam b'simcha, uvetzochola, tochem bunei, am segula, boi kala, boi Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekabela. So in that last verse of Lecha Dodi, we call ourselves Am Segula, one people, one singled out people. And when we stand together in community, when we call each other into our prayer space, we further acknowledge we are all in this together, inviting one another in our most vulnerable selves, in our prayer versions of ourselves. We call ourselves to prayer on page 28 with the words of Baruch Hu. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Arechu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. We read together on page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges their stars and their heavenly courses according to plan. You are the creator of day and light, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. That are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ari v'Arahavim. Sing Shema, page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך, בפתחך, ובלתך בדרך, ובשופך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. Elul, this month that we've just entered, is a bridge month. We come on one side from sadness and destruction in the month of Av, and standing ahead of us is Tishrei. We make promises to embody the hopes of new beginnings and return to our best selves. But Elul is just a bridge. It's taking those first tenuous steps on the journey to wholeness, healing, change, and hope. So we sing that same song of taking those steps, those tenuous steps the Israelites took when they crossed their water, their bridge into the unknown. Page 40 for the Hebrew. We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'etar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'etar ba'kodesh. Nohora tehilot seifele, Nohora tehilot seifele. We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, ooh, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are a people in whom the past endured, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We sing Hashkivenu on page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, our wrong from right. Amen. 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 Perfect timing. That calls us to rise. We are about to enter our Amidah. We are about to enter our prayer space. And like the call of the shofar, we haven't woken up by now, this is the part of the service where we prepare to stand humbly before God in our most vulnerable selves, as open as we can be. And we begin by asking for intention. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gila Livnei V'Nehem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Hozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, B'chayei HaKol atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Mehelach, Melech Memid Umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah Chayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh Kedoshim B'Kol Yom Yehalelucha Selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. May you take what you need to find on this Shabbat and bring it to this space, bring it to those spaces at home, and when you feel ready, you may be seated. We're in our blue service supplement.
Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing. Bring peace to all our days. Elna, Rifana la nu. Elna, Rifana la nu. Restore strength of body. Help clarify our minds. Refresh our tired spirits. Rejuvenate our light. Elna, Rifana la nu. Elna, Rifana la nu.
We come together on Shabbat to pray for those who are in need of healing. We think about these words in our prayer, a perfect healing, and wonder if that is even a thing. And I'm not sure, but I know that prayer can change our framework to hope instead of despair. That through prayer we can just think a little bit more positively, reframe thoughts towards what could be instead of what is. And as we look towards our new year and our calendar is telling us, think forward, look ahead, we try to have hope for what's on the horizon. If you are praying for someone this Shabbat and you want to share a name out loud, I invite you to rise. I'll come around the sanctuary and you can share a name with me. I mentioned that I tested earlier before services, but if you don't want me to come close, you can just share your name from afar. In addition to the names that you listed in your chat box at home and the names we prayed for together, we are praying for Stephanie Levitt, Marilyn Greenwald, Marcia Margolin, Francie Karp, Evan Bin, Lynn Ettlinger, Larry Margolis, Gary Verbin, Larry Gurman, Rebecca Frazier, Marcel Frazier, Sherry Berenstein, Maxine Rogo, Parry Meskin, David Habib, Anna Tran, Lev Heschel, Benbat Ami, Suzanne Price, the Carney Friedman family, Carol Kleinman, Sergio Ripka, Carol Penn, Jessica Bobson, Abdullah Ibrahim, Cindy Brines, Louis Eliscu, Dolores Gould, Eli Shevachana, Father Eric Hines, Michael McNally, Helene Gagnon, Sophia Khana, Betty Nazarian, Rita Harai, John Tibbetts, Marilyn Schmidt, Glenn Kesselman, Amy Schulman, and Bob Berry. We wish you a refuah shlema.
Elna, refana la nu. Elna, refana la nu. Elna, refana la
nu. Well, Shabbat Shalom again, and thanks for being here. So this summer, Shwa and I became engrossed with a really strange TV series on HBO Max called The Rehearsal by comedian and artist Nathan Fielder. Anyone watched it? Anyone? Some of you. Well, this show, as the name suggests, asks the question, what if you could rehearse for the experiences of life? What if you could prepare for the parts of life that no one can really prepare for? Situations like having a really difficult conversation, being in a relationship, or becoming a parent. And the show starts out as a kind of social experiment / therapy innovation. Nathan finds individuals who are anticipating these emotionally fraught scenarios, and then he meticulously recreates the conditions under which they will have an interaction. For example, when a bar trivia team member needed to tell his teammate that he had lied about his educational background, Fielder built a full replica of the bar on a sound stage to create just the right setting where the confession would take place. Fielder's rehearsal process also includes hiring actors to play the other people in the scene, actors who have studied and mimicked the real-life individuals they are portraying. And even the experience of having a baby is replicated through robotic dolls that cry sporadically throughout the night. These people rigorously rehearse their life scenarios, trying to anticipate as many possible outcomes as they can in order to prepare for the real thing. So Nathan Fielder tried to create a rehearsal for life. And the show's ultimate question, whether or not this is even possible, stays open for debate. But as I watched this truly wild show, I was interested in a different question. If we knew what life would throw at us, would we be more prepared? Would we live differently, make different choices? And in many ways, this is right where we are in the book of Deuteronomy. because God is rehearsing, or at least repeating to the Israelites, all of the acts of sustenance that were performed for them in the desert. The Israelites are reminded of how God brought them out of Egypt and to the foot of Mount Sinai, where the Torah or laws were given as a sign of the covenant. And this repetition is not only about a retelling, but a way of emotionally recommitting to God. And then come the laws. In Parshat Shoftim that we read this Shabbat, Moses reviews the justice system for the Israelites. Moses talks about the limits future kings should have on their possessions. He explains how the priests and Levites should be supported by donations from the people. And finally, Moses explains the laws of warfare. And it's not the easiest portion to digest, Julian, you know, although you did a really great job, and we can't wait to hear your Devar Torah. But laws, in some ways, they are what allow us to rehearse for the situations in life that will be difficult and unpredictable. They can guide us as to how to make the best choices we can in a new situation. So, for example, when the Israelites will inhabit the land of Israel, a totally new and unknown place for them, they already know through God's law not to worship idols, not to follow other kings, not to cut down fruit from fruit-bearing trees. They are given a system of justice to help them live lives with a moral center, a system to navigate the complexities that will inevitably arise between people. Rituals are yet another way we rehearse our lives. They help us enact and reenact life's most transformational moments. Julian, again, sorry to pick on you tonight, but you will become a bar mitzvah tomorrow no matter what. You're turning 13. But going through the process of leading services and reading Torah, that ritual is what will transform you into becoming this young adult. And as we come closer and closer to the High Holy Days, I'm thinking of how Yom Kippur itself has been described as a rehearsal, not for life, but for our deaths. The rituals help us feel with our whole heart what it is like to know that we are dying, so that we can spend our time contemplating what that means for life. Our rituals help bring us close to feelings of dying, strangely, and the most obvious way is by not eating, if you're physically capable. As a parallel to Tahara, the cleansing of a body before burial, some have the custom of immersing in a mikveh before Yom Kippur to remove the spiritual schmutz. On Yom Kippur, we recite a vidui prayer, confessing our missteps before God. The other time when we may do this is on our deathbed. And many of us will follow the custom of wearing white on Yom Kippur, representing purity to which our souls aspire. And white, too, is the color of shrouds in which we may choose to be buried. On Yom Kippur, we confront our death so that we can choose a life in greater alignment with our values and purpose. We read in this parsha one of the most famous and oft-repeated lines of Torah: "Justice, justice shall you pursue." A teaching that we must keep at the center if we want to make sure that both our lives and our deaths have meaning. We are now in the month of Elul, the time to prepare for the upcoming holidays. How can we begin to make the changes today that will help us live lives of justice? Because this is really the work of the High Holy Days, to let insight and wisdom from Torah guide our lives now, not just in our final days. So, not to spoil anything about the show I was referring to, but by the end of it, the rehearsal concept really goes out the window. And Nathan Fielder admits it never really made sense in the first place, because you can't fix the hard moments of life. And you can't rehearse moments over and over again until they get better. He ends with the acknowledgement, life's better with surprises. Some things, sure, you want to be prepared for, but you know what I mean. He means that life is complicated and messy, and being acutely aware of that may just be all the rehearsal we need. So let's start living like there's no rehearsal. And I wish you a Chodesh Tov, a good month, and a Shabbat Shalom. So now I want to thank Lori Hepler, a member of our Board of Trustees, for stepping in tonight to offer some announcements for our community. Thanks, Lori.
Shabbat Shalom, all of you. On behalf of everyone here, I thank Rabbi Lisa and Shua for such a moving service. It is a blessing every time to be with you, but especially when Shua is playing piano. It doesn't happen all the time. Julian, Yasher Koach, and your community wishes your whole family Mazel Tov on this momentous Shabbat. We honor you becoming bar mitzvah with several gifts that we hope you will treasure. The Temple Brotherhood gave you a Torah commentary in your 6th grade year. You are also receiving a Kiddush cup from Bethel Women, the Senior Friendship Club, and the Education Committee. And the Contemporary Jewish Museum in San Francisco is giving you a Team Art Connect membership. You will also receive a complimentary 1-year Center Youth membership to the PJCC, and we hope you will use all of those gifts in good health and with zealous curiosity. For our whole community, this is a very important time of year when our incredibly hardworking staff and clergy really need us to register online for our High Holy Days services. Shout out to Kate Lauser back there, who sent us all an incredibly useful email a few days ago devoted to all of the resources that are in one place for us to prepare for the High Holy Days by ordering food, registering for services, borrowing prayer books, parking permits. Did I say registering for services? Please don't forget, it is the very top line in your e-news as well as that email from Kate. We really, really need to know how many folks are going to be here in person or on Zoom. So please do use that link, folks. It is very important to our wonderful PTBE staff. As well, on September 14th, our own Senior Rabbi Lisa, which I just love saying, will be participating in a Rabbi's Roundtable at the PJCC. That event is in person only, and there is a registration link also in your e-news for that, as well as many other community events as we build up to the High Holy Days. And to any of you who are visiting our temple tonight, please know that we welcome you. We're glad you're here. And if you have any questions at all, you can come and see me at the Oneg afterward. And I wish you all peace on the Shabbat.
Thank you again for sharing the logistical preparation that we have to do for the holidays, as well as the spiritual preparation. And of course, I know that so many of you are here tonight because you came to remember a loved one. And I want to give an awkward disclaimer that there has been some behind-the-scenes administrative confusion over our yard site list for the past few weeks. So if you are someone here that missed a yard site or doesn't hear a name on our yard site list, please let us know after services so that we can continue to work on fixing this problem. But I want to invite those of you who are here to remembering to rise and be recognized. We are remembering in our recent losses Roseanne Levitt, Leo Barris, and Charles Becker. This Shabbat is the yahrzeit of Cecilio Avram, Esther Belzy, Leo Bernstein, Shad Brown, Janice Cohen, Zwei Cohn, Al Iran, Esther Feroz, Michael Benjamin Friedman, Gloria Frucht, Betty Gagnon, Hilda Gorin, Richard Allen Greenblatt, Abraham Grossman, Milton Haber, Laura Cam, Madeline Kaufman, Charles Koff, Jeanette Cousin, Sidney Cousin, Leonard Leibovitz, Helen Lewin, Rose Marcus, Max Montague, Bella Nelson, Boris Regent, Betty Rappaport, Henry Reingold, Fanny Rosen, Rabbi Sanford Rosen, Frida Plotkin, Perry Ross, Irving Samuels, David Schwimmer, Ramona Simpson, Marcia Smith, Aaron Versano, Minnie Wachter, Henry Weil, and Samuel Zwas. Again, if there's anyone who I left off that list, I'm looking at our those who are on Zoom: Greg Shamlers, Shoshana Tolkien, and Mickey Schulman. If there's anyone who wants to add a name. Carol. Thank you. Thank you. Well, for those names that we read out loud and those names we always hold in our hearts as we say this prayer, I invite you to rise and stand together as one community in support of those mourning. We're on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'amad divrach hirteh v'amlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayed chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam me almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kedusha barichu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, za'amiran be'ama v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'kol shvei tevel, v'imru amen. We say zikronam livracha, may their memory be for a blessing. We remain standing and we invite Julian Sorger, our bar mitzvah, back to the bima. He is going to add the joy to Shabbat by blessing it with some wine and challah. We're going to be on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zinkaro lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu bacharta, Beotanu kidashta mikol hanim beshabbat kodshecha be'ahavra uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat.
Amen. Give us a big
L'chaim.
Should
Should I drink it?
All right. You know, that's so helpful to Mick.
Really?
He doesn't have to go run and spill out the juice. Thank you. Thank you for finishing that. All right, let's get some challah. You'll finish this one later.
Yeah.
Baruch
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
You can have both pieces. Now I'm pretty convinced you can handle that whole thing.
Should I take this somewhere?
We'll leave this here. We'll clean that out. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 10:30. All right. Mazel tov to the whole Sorger family. And thank you again, everyone, for being together. Thank you, Shwa. Thank you, Lori and Kate and Max and everyone who formed our community this Shabbat. We'll end with a prayer for peace. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu. Count it, 1, 2, 3, sing it. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Shabbat shalom. Please join us outside for some oneg and Shabbat shalom on Zoom.